Parents are suing the Vancouver School Board over a new transgender policy. Paige McPherson is in Vancouver. Paige, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me, Jerry.
What's the problem?
Well, to me, this issue really it's a broader issue. We see it right across Canada, from school board to school board to school board. It's parents, putting all their tax dollars into one specific school and then having, in this case, the morality of that school board dictated and parents just being left out of the discussion. They don't have a say. So in this specific case, what we see is that the Vancouver School Board, as part of a broader approach to sort of be more inclusive to transgender and LGBTQ students, has approved a few policies, a number of them. One of which is allowing students to have free bathroom use. As you know, I'm sure as our viewers know, this has been a controversial policy whenever and wherever it's been introduced, letting students, based on what gender they feel, use that specific bathroom. But in addition, it's allowing a little more freedom for students who are gender non-conforming. So that's another issue. There's not really a legal definition in terms of what is a transgender student here. It's just gender non-conforming students being able to use whichever bathroom they choose. Also, another big problem that the parents have here is that they're being left out of the discussion in terms of teachers not having the obligation and school administration not having the obligation to share with parents any activities that are happening with their students if they are identifying as other as other genders. Parents are going to be left out of the decision in that way. So those are the two main things we're seeing now after this policy has been passed by the Vancouver School Board. Parents literally taking it to a lawsuit because they feel it's the only way their voice can be heard.
Well, as some of the people say, some students are uncomfortable with sharing personal information, private spaces with members of the opposite sex. It's always been, particularly in the case of boys going into the girls' washroom, very, very frowned upon. Girls didn't seem to want to go into the boys' bathroom, so that problem looked after itself. You've got to have a lot of parents who just look at this and go, "Are you kidding me? Is the world upside down now?"
Well, that's exactly right. This motion does have, or this lawsuit does have a lot of support. It's sort of three parents at the forefront of this, but then they say that they have affidavits of over 200 other parents that have similar concerns. Now, another aspect to this, and a lot of the criticism that this parent group is receiving, is that they're Chinese Canadians. Unfortunately, and this is a point that's been raised by the lawyer in this case, there's been a lot of sort of racist feedback to this, saying, don't impose your values on us. This is Canada. You should just learn to adopt our values. But the fact is that this kind of a policy is actually new, even in Canada. And frankly, when you have any group of parents paying taxes into any one system and then having to have their children go into that school, because Jerry, as you know, we don't have school choice in most provinces in Canada. You have to attend the public school unless you can afford otherwise. So there's really no, I think, place for that in this discussion. I think that these parents are just a group of parents like any other group of parents that have a concern, want to have their voices heard, and it really is being dismissed by the Vancouver School Board as just being ridiculous concerns, not being inclusive, not recognizing the problem here. From my perspective, they could have done the policy differently. They could have said, we're going to have the funding, if they so chose, to have in every school a specific washroom, let's say, for transgender kids, and they could use that specific washroom, but instead they've made it this open and free policy that they can use any washroom that they so choose. And that is, of course, concerning for, let's say a grade 1 girl. You could have a grade 8 boy going into that washroom. I think that is understandably a concern for a lot of parents who feel that their children are not going to be comfortable in schools, which ironically is, really the driving force behind this policy from the Vancouver School Board. It's that these kids, transgender students, are not feeling comfortable in school. So they seem to have really gone too far in that direction. And now this group of parents is saying, look, we have our conception of morality too. You have to at least hear our point of view, and they just didn't feel that it was heard.
The parents, in fact, own the schools. They are public schools. They belong to the public. And you get these people who've decided they're going to change the world and use children as pawns in their experiment. The common sense solution, Paige, you have suggested. Have some small bathroom that is kind of like the family bathroom at a mall or something, where someone has, mom has a little boy and doesn't want to send him in the men's room, but needs to spend time with them. There's always a simpler solution, and it's the one they don't go for. And then they tell the parents, the taxpayers, to shut the hell up. And it's really actually getting on my last nerve.